Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we'll be looking at the DC Icons Deathstroke figure from DC Collectibles. And here's a quick look at him in the packaging. You're able to see the figure and all the accessories that he comes with. And then on the side of the box it says DC Icons Deathstroke, the Judas Contract, because that's the look that this figure is based on. And on the back of the package you get a look at some other figures that came out at the same time as Deathstroke, but for some reason it's missing Static Shock, which also came out at the same time as these figures. And one thing I really like about the DC Icons packaging is it always gives credit to the people that were behind the figure. So it tells you who sculpted the figure and who designed, I'm assuming, the packaging. And yeah, I really like this packaging for DC Icons. It's collector friendly. You could take the figure out and then put it back in if you'd like, and it doesn't even look like you opened it. So it's very, very cool. And for the articulation, his head is able to move side to side. And it doesn't really have too much tilt. It only tilts just a tiny bit, as you can see there. And then it doesn't really look down that much either. That's about as far as it'll go. And that's about as far up as it'll go. So not too much movement in the head other than side to side. And then for his torso, he's got a joint here and he's able to kind of rotate around. You can kind of get him to tilt a pretty good amount. And if you're careful with this, you could actually get it to twist all the way around, but you got to be really careful. But it is possible for it to do it. And it kind of loosens it up a little bit, so it moves a little bit more. Then he's got the ab crunch that crunches forward, but not too much. Using both joints, he gets forward about that much. So that's pretty good, but the ab crunch itself doesn't work that good. And then it goes back about that much. So using those two joints together, it's a pretty good amount of movement. And then for his arms, he has ball jointed shoulders, so his arm can go all the way around. Then you can bring the arm up, but the shoulder joint is really tight, so you got to be careful with that. But it comes up about that much. And then he has upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. No swivel at the glove, but he has a swivel at the wrist and a hinge at the wrist. And then for his legs, you're able to bring them down a little bit, kind of like import figures. And then it allows you to move it a really nice amount. So it can kick all the way to the side. And then it come forward about that much. And then it comes back about that much. And of course there's no upper thigh swivel, just like all the rest of the DC Icons figures. And then he's got double jointed knees. He's got a swivel at the boot. Then he's got a swivel here at the foot, and his feet can tilt forward about that much and then tilt up about that much, and then they could rock side to side. Overall, his articulation is pretty good except for in his head, but everything else is pretty good. And then for his accessories, he comes with two different sets of hands. This is the first set. We've got a pair of fists, and then we have a pair of open hands. And his open hands can be used to hold on to his guns, and he comes with two different guns, first being a revolver. And for his second gun, he has some sort of rifle or machine gun or something like that. And then he comes with a nice looking sword. And then he also has a nice looking sheath to place his sword into. Then he also comes with a nice looking bow staff. He comes with two different heads, the first one being a masked standard Deathstroke head, and it looks pretty good. It's sculpted nice. You can see his one eye there, it's outlined in black. Then on the side you got his eye covered up. On this side, his thing on his ear is gold. Then you got like the bandana tied thing in the back. Yeah, but this head sculpt is really good. I like it. And then he comes with the unmasked Slade Wilson head, and this looks really good too. It's sculpted pretty nice. It has the white hair with some gray like shading in there, or like a gray wash. Same thing on his goatee, it's white with a little bit of gray details in there. You got the eye patch covering his eye. And yeah, this sculpt is really nice too. It feels like it could have been a little bit more detailed or something, but it looks really nice. I like it. And here's a closer look at the rifle. And yeah, his guns are not very good. They're very small and plastic looking. They feel real fragile. As you can see here, it's really thin. Feels like it could break easy, especially back here. Look how like thin and weak it looks. The rifles, it sucks and everything, but I don't dislike it as much as I dislike the revolver. This thing looks really, really weak. You can see how thin it is and stuff. Yeah, it's not very good. I think they kind of dropped the ball on the gun. On both of the guns, actually. His bow staff is pretty cool, though. And for some reason, it comes apart in 3 places. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, I like the way that the bow staff looks. And I really like the way the sword looks. I think they did a good job on the sword here. You got a gold like handle. It is a little bit thin, but I mean, it's okay. It still looks pretty nice. So I do like the sword. And here's a closer look at the sheath. It has some sculpted details on there. It looks really nice. And the sword slides right in there, nice and easy. So that's cool. I like the way the sheath and the sword looks. And the way this hangs on here is there's a hole in his back, and there's a little peg. You just stick it right in the hole, and it sits in there pretty good. It stays in there tight. You don't have to worry about it falling out or anything. And now for some size comparisons. Here he is next to Marvel Legends Ultimate Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And I really think that the DC Icons figures work really good for like a 6-inch line. It's more like a true 6-inch figure, kind of like import figures, a little bit smaller than Marvel Legends. But here he is next to DC Icons Superman and DC Icons Flash. And some people were saying that they were trying to upscale them with the newer figures. I really hope that that doesn't become a thing, because I like the scale that they're at. And here he is next to Mezco Captain America and Mezco Flash. I know some people don't like the smaller version of 6-inch figures, but I think they're cool. I mean, I like import figures and I like these DC Icons figures, so I hope they stay where they're at. And here he is next to Figure Arts Captain America and Figure Arts Michelangelo. As you can see here, he's pretty much the same size as Figure Arts Captain America. And then here he is next to Marvel Legends Wonder Man and Marvel Legends Sunfire. And you can see that both of them are a lot bigger than him. And then here he is next to DC Icons Green Arrow and DC Icons Green Lantern. And the sculpt of Deathstroke here looks really, really good. I think the DC Icons did a great job once again. They always do a pretty good job on the sculpt for their figures. And here you've got like this ammunition belt that kind of, it hangs loose, but it's kind of, it's tight on there, but it's not attached to him, so it doesn't like sag or anything. It looks pretty good, but you can remove it if you want to. And then you've got some like chainmail armor sculpted here. You've got some sculpted details on the gloves and stuff. And then you've got some sculpted things on his belt. You got some pouches and some grenades and things like that. It looks pretty cool. One thing that kind of sucks about mine is right here in the crotch area, it looks like it looks dented up or something like that. That kind of looks really ugly. But no, not a huge deal. Right here you got some chainmail sculpted all over the legs. You got the nice big pirate boots that look really nice. You got his shoes that actually have 2 different colors on them. The soles are a different color than the rest of the shoe. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else we got here. I really like the way this leg comes down. I think that's very cool. It gives you a lot more movement. The early DC Icons figures didn't have that. But I do like that Deathstroke has it. I kind of wish that his shoulders weren't so tight, because after you bring him up like that and then bring him back down, his shoulder kind of looks dented up, as you can see there. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, other than that, no big problems with the figure. Like I said, the sculpt and paint is pretty much pretty good all the way around, except for right there in his crotch area that's all messed up. I really wish it wasn't like that. That's gonna bug the heck out of me. And but yeah, sculpt is pretty good. So overall, I'm really happy with this figure. I think the DC Icons did a great job once again. I'm a big fan of the DC Icons line. I'm pretty much happy with all the figures that I picked up from that line. It's kind of looking dark for them these days. They've been canceling some figures and things like that. But I really hope to see them keep it moving, because I think it's a really good line for 6-inch DC figures. So yeah, I'm really happy with Deathstroke. The only thing that I'm really disappointed about is his guns. His guns are horrible. They really dropped the ball when it comes to his guns. They really could have given him something better. And his shoulder joint, I really don't like how tight it is. It's really like uncomfortable to mess with. It kind of makes it not that fun to play with and pose, because when I bring his arm up, I always think that I'm going to snap the peg or something like that, because how tight the shoulder is. So you got to be really careful with messing with it. And yeah, I really wish that they did a something different with this shoulder. I really don't like how tight it is. And with mine specifically, I can't really knock the figure as a whole for it because it's probably just mine, but I really hate the way that the crotch area is all tore up. It looks like it got hit with a hammer or something like that. So that's a little bit disappointing. Hopefully I could ignore it or repair it and not have to buy a new one, but I would be willing to buy a new one if I had to, because I do like this figure a lot. I think, like I said, I think they did a really good job, so I'm very happy to have them. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that cool stuff. And that's it. Peace.